Hello everyone, welcome to the greatest show on earth. I'm Mark Chalero, the owner of MS Classic Cars, and I'm coming right back at you with another spectacular vehicle. Today, I'm sitting behind the wheel of an absolutely beautiful 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. This vehicle has its original color combination and complete original drivetrain. It's been certified by expert Jerry MacNeish of Camaro High Performance. You've got to check this out. To start off this presentation here, this is a non-rehearsed video. There's going to be some information I'm sure to forget during this presentation, so please visit our website at msclassiccars.com for a complete description with a ton of highly detailed photos. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, please note I only collect number 1 and number 2 condition vehicles. We've been doing that since inception. I'm very proud to say we're the only classic car dealership in the country who services everything that we sell, and we document that work with an invoice. As an example, in this brand new binder that I provide with every car, the first thing that we see is the invoice for the service work. This particular car, as an example, we did a lot of stuff to this car. We invested $16,003.41. Again, you can review everything that we've done to this car. Once the vehicles are done going through our vigorous service process, we bring them into our detail room. We spend countless hours starting from the undercarriage and working our way right to the top. Once they're done, I personally write the descriptions. Corey does all the photos. We do these videos, and we try to present the vehicles to the best of our ability. If you haven't done your homework on MS Classic Cars, I would please ask you to do so. Before I get into the presentation about this particular car, I do want to mention something beforehand, and that is the fact that MS Classic Cars has had some of the best first-generation Camaros over the years. We've had truly cars that are at the highest level of quality. We have become very friendly with Jerry MacNeish, Norman Meads, who works with Jerry directly. We are well known in the community of people who deal with Camaros as being one of the leaders with the cars that we buy and the cars that we sell. Unfortunately, a lot of these cars are misrepresented. When I say misrepresented, I'm talking about vehicles that have fake paperwork, such as protector plates, bill of sales, vehicles that have fake trim tags, engines have been restamped. I could tell you stories for days and days about cars that were made that never truly existed, or cars that are just being made to be something that they're not. So again, you got to be very careful in this business. It's super, super important to buy a vehicle that has been certified by an expert such as Jerry MacNeish. So just want to make sure we got that over with. So let's get into the presentation about this particular car. I'm going to read and reference it kind of at the same time some of the information that I have put together here off of our website. So let's start by saying this. This particular car is one of 20,302 Z28s built in 1969. This beautiful 69 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 is a great example of a very original car that only has been partially restored. This vehicle has exactly 60,890 original miles. It is one of the most original cars that we've ever seen in MS Classic Cars over all the years that we've been doing this. I wouldn't classify this car as a survivor because it has had paint work, it's had engine detailing and so forth. So I wouldn't classify it as a survivor, but a car that was partially restored. So it's never been truly taken apart and put back together. And I'll get into some of those details here in a minute. So this is a true collector's item with original documentation, original color combination, original matching numbers, a DZ302 V8 engine, original matching numbers, 4-speed manual transmission, and original 12-bolt POSI rear end. So in regards to the documentation, it is very, very rare to find what's referenced as the broadcast sheets when you're talking about a 69 Camaro Z28. This vehicle not only has one broadcast sheet, but it actually has multiple broadcast sheets, 3 in total. Again, finding a 69 Camaro with a broadcast sheet, some people would reference it as a build sheet, is worth its weight in gold. This is really, really awesome information. Of all the Camaro Z28s that I've had over the years, only a few of them, maybe 1 or 2, besides this car, have had these original broadcast sheets. Again, very, very special. This car also has what they reference as a Chevrolet pre-delivery service and adjustment check sheet from the original selling dealer. This was laminated along with the build sheets just to preserve them and keep them as intact as possible. So again, all that documentation is included with the car. Getting back, as I mentioned earlier, it's been certified as authentic by Camaro expert Jerry MacNeish of Camaro High Performance. So Jerry not only does a report on the car, which is in this binder that I've created, but he also provides a certificate of authenticity, which has the vehicle's VIN number. This is the report here. Again, you can see all this in our photo gallery. This is it here. And then, of course, we have this certificate that's included. Now, on the note of this particular certificate, this was done in 2007. Again, this car has got great history, which I'm going to get into in a minute. And he did this back in 07. So Jerry MacNeish is going to come to the dealership with Norman Meads January 2nd, 2023, and they're actually going to recertify this car and a few other cars that I have as well. Matter of fact, we're going to do 3 vehicles in total, and that way we will have an updated version of the Jerry MacNeish report and certificate of authenticity, which is going to be very, very valuable to the new owner. In regards to the new owner, this vehicle is going to be selling at the upcoming Barrett Jackson auction with no reserve. You got to make sure to check out our website. That's in January. The lot number will be there, all the details of the auction, etc. So again, it's selling with no reserve. So that's a great opportunity for you to register. You can bid in person, you can bid over the phone, you can bid online, etc. So this particular car was ordered with a dusk blue with white stripes exterior. This color combination is very, very rare. It's extremely desirable. Some people would argue next to black, it could be the most desirable color in a Camaro. The car that currently holds the world record is a dusk blue car with white stripes, coincidentally enough. So this car is going to attract some serious attention just based on its absolutely beautiful color. It has a black standard interior, and it has the following options: tinted glass, positract rear axle with 373 gear ratio, disc brakes, 4-speed manual transmission, AM radio, and the special performance package known as the Z28. As the original dealer 1969 Chevrolet pre-delivery service and adjustment check sheet indicates, it was sold by Lee Johnson Chevrolet, located in Kirkland, Washington. From the information gathered, which I did some serious research on this car, it found its way down south where it spent many years. It was purchased by a gentleman, his name was Joseph, from Long Grove, Iowa in 2006. He bought it with 58,000 original miles. Prior to his purchase, the car had been recently repainted in its original color of dust blue with white stripes. Only 3.3% of total Camaro production in 1969 was painted dusk blue, which again makes it very desirable amongst collectors. I will tell you that the exterior of this car is super, super straight. It's believed to have all of its original sheet metal from all the inspection work that we've done, and this paint job is at a very, very high level. I would clearly say this falls into the #1 category as far as the bodywork and the paint. It is absolutely stunning. So Joseph enjoyed the car, taking it to many car shows. He even took the car on a power tour. After 12 years of ownership, he sold the car to a gentleman by the name of Mike. Mike is actually a good friend of mine. His name is Mike Mulvey of Denver, Colorado. He bought the car in 2018. Mike reluctantly sold the car to a friend and well-known classic car collector, Bryan Frank of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. That was in 2020. Bryan is actually my business partner. Very proud to have Bryan as a business partner. This is a car that I kind of really was in his ear about getting at some point, and I would say that he made the decision to sell it to me at MS Classic Cars, have us kind of do what we do, going through the car with service and detail, and then make it part of the Barrett Jackson Scottsdale 2023 collection. So that's kind of the story and the history of the car. It really has not been for sale publicly since it was bought by Joe back in the day. That was almost 20 years ago. So this is not a car. If you Google the VIN number, you try to find its history or think it's been around the block to a bunch of different auctions, not the case. This is a very special car that's now being really put into the limelight, so to speak. As I mentioned, the exterior body has all of its original sheet metal, which is super straight with excellent gaps. The paint work is at a very, very high level. All of the glass in the car is original with the exception of the windshield, and the glass is in really, really nice condition. It sits on its correct Goodyear wide tread GT E70-15 tires. The exterior is complemented with a black interior that's also in excellent original condition. So again, right on Jerry MacNeish's report, don't take it from me, but take it from the expert in the business. I'm just going to read a small section off of Jerry's report here. Interior condition, excellent original interior. It's as simple as it gets. He put black standard buckets, no console, no gauges. This is definitely a little bit of a sleeper Z28 with its flat hood and no console. Definitely has kind of that Copo feeling, if you will. Just a really special piece. The trunk compartment retains most of its original Los Angeles splatter paint. They have a very unique splatter paint that they would paint the trunks with in that particular factory in Los Angeles. And this still has its original splatter paint, which also is really, really cool. The engine compartment was lightly restored and does prevent really nicely. The car is powered by its original matching numbers 302 V8 that was completely rebuilt in November of 2022 by MS Classic Cars. So let's talk about that for a moment. When we got this car off the trailer, we inspected the exterior. We said, man, this is in absolutely beautiful condition. The body, the paint, even a lot of the exterior trim that had been replaced and so forth, bumpers, mirrors, window trim, etc., etc. When we looked at this interior, I knew immediately just from my personal experience with Camaros that this was indeed an original interior. When you look at this headliner, you look at the dome light, you look at the, all the interior pieces, this dash pad, all the gauges, the steering wheel, the door panels, the carpeting, the way that the seats felt when I sat in them, there was no doubt in my mind this car had all of its original interior. And then, of course, when I was reading through Jerry's report, it's exactly what he had said. But when we got to the engine compartment was nice, but it had never really been truly restored. So what we did is during our service inspection, because this motor had never been rebuilt, and it had 60,000 miles on it, we decided the best thing for this car and the new owner who bought it was to rebuild the engine. So we invested, again, part of that $16,000 was pulling out the engine. My guys, we have 5 guys in our service department that work full-time for MS Classic Cars. We don't do any work for the public, so we spend the time that's necessary on these cars to make them right, and that engine in this car was done right. So what we did is we actually rebuilt the entire engine. We do a lot of our machine work with Nat's engines, which is just a great operation. Nat Severtoni's been in business forever. He's right in Swansea, Massachusetts. If you want to Google him, give him a shout out. But this is a dyno sheet for this particular engine. We did use a Comp Cam DZ replacement setup. It also has SCAT rads, and it also has roller tip rockers. Again, when we dynoed the engine, we used a 750 CFM racing style carburetor, and it also was run with full length headers. So this is not maybe the exact horsepower that is in the car today, because we have manifolds, we have a original style carburetor and things like that. But I'm very proud to say that this engine put down 375 horsepower. These were rated from the factory with 290. Again, people will say for insurance purposes that the manufacturers would rate them lower than what they really were. But regardless, this thing has been built to the highest quality, and the dyno sheet is included. So when we had the engine out of the car, we cleaned up a lot of the engine compartment. I'm not going to say that we restored all of this. We clearly did not. But what we did is we took different parts off and painted them and made things look nice and blah, blah, blah. But we did a really, really nice job. So when you see all the photos or you watch this video, we didn't want to make it look too nice, so it didn't kind of coincide with the rest of the car's originality. And I think my guys actually knocked it out of the park. The engine is coupled to the original matching numbers, 4-speed manual transmission, and 12-bolt POSI rear end, as I mentioned earlier, with the 373 gears. Now, talking about the undercarriage of this car. When the car was purchased new at the dealership, it was undercoated. In Jerry's report, once again, I'm just going to read it right from his report. It says here, undercarriage, excellent. No rust, original floor pans and trunk floor. Dealer undercoated, virgin trunk floor. That's what he put in his report. So this is not an undercarriage that somebody just went crazy painting to hide, dents and dings and rust and so forth. This was actually done when the car was new. So what we did at MS Classic Cars, again, we wanted to preserve a lot of that originality. We just spent some time in there cleaning. We did some light painting just to kind of refreshen it, make it look a little blacker, if you will. But the underneath of this car is in beautiful, beautiful condition. Obviously, it's got a new exhaust system. All the brakes have been gone through. The suspension's been gone through. The fuel system. Everything underneath this car is ready, again, for the road. So that kind of concludes this video here. I would ask for you to please, again, do your homework on MS Classic Cars. Go back to the photo gallery, look at the invoice, look at everything that we did. Whether you want to buy this car as an investment, maybe you want to buy this car to put in your collection and put on display, or you want to buy this car to strictly enjoy it, we have made it ready for the new owner to enjoy. So that concludes it. If you have not signed up for our VIP email blast, I would please ask you to do so. That is the best way to follow MS Classic Cars. We have thousands of people on that list. We are also on all the social media networks, so please make sure to start following us on social media as well. We really would appreciate it. MS Classic Cars, we're not a big company, but we are doing big things. So we appreciate you watching this video. So I'm going to go ahead and start it up now. There it is. Idling absolutely beautiful. We appreciate you watching this video. Rock and roll.